Well, it's not like I killed anybody. Is something we often hear and something we often use to justify when we do something that's a little bit bad. It's like, oh, we didn't kill anybody, so I'm okay. Some people, I've heard that example, it's like, yeah, you know what? I don't do everything perfect, but I'm not Hitler. It's like, again, that's a really low bar. You're setting things really low. Your standards are really low. It's like, hey, not that guy. Well, Jesus says you are. Jesus says I am. Jesus says we are that bad guys. Because when he talks about murder, okay. So let's take a look at this in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 5, verses 21 through 26, and he it summarizes it here by saying murder in the New International Version, but I think it could be better summarized as just as bad as murder. So let's take a look at this. You have heard that it was said to people long ago, you shall not murder, and anyone who murders will be subject to judgment. At least they should be. They should be subject to judgment. Like if they're a cop and they kill somebody, they should be subject to judgment. But I tell you that anyone who is angry with his brother or sister will be subject to judgment. Anyone who says to a brother or sister, Raka, which means empty head, is answerable to the court. Anyone who says, you fool, will be in danger of hell. Okay, so we see people looking like idiots and acting like fools every day. The Bible warns us not to. Proverbs gives us lots of wisdom to try to prevent us from acting like fools, from being empty headed. But this is one of the ways Christ is trying to point things back to Him, saying, it's like, look, you need our salvation. You think you're innocent, but no one is innocent enough. He's already said that you have to be that you have to be as righteous as the Pharisees and the lawgivers. So, and in their culture, in Jewish culture, it's like these were the righteous people. I mean, think if Christ said it's like you have to be better than Mother Teresa and Gandhi, you know. Um, yeah, nobody's perfect. You could probably find some places where they weren't perfect. You have to be as good as the most good person you know. You have to be better than they are. So Christ is showing our insufficiency. We are insufficient without Christ, and he's doing that again. This is a theme in the Sermon on the Mount. Let's go to verse 23. Therefore, if you are offering a gift at the altar and remember that your brother or sister has something against you, you should leave the gift in front of the altar. Stop doing your religious whatever it is you're doing. Go and be first go and be reconciled with them. Then come and offer your gift. Now there's an assumption about community here. And this is assuming that reconciliation is something that can happen and is safe to happen. I don't believe Christ is telling you to go back into a dangerous situation. There are situations where you may have to step back and say, God, be with me. I forgive this person by heart. But you don't want to end up going back to a toxic situation with, say, an employer or a friend or somebody that you were dating or even someone in your family. You know, if if things are dangerous, that's I don't think Christ is saying run into the danger. You know, I think that I think, but I think there's also times where we can be reconciled, where we can sit down and say, let's talk about this. You know, and there's times where we have to use our judgment. It's like, you know what? This aspect of society does not care anything for me. Maybe it's wise for me to step away from it. But try to communicate as much as you possibly can for the sake of reconciliation. If it's a place where you go there and you're just going to receive more toxicity, then you know it's best to forgive from a distance and keep moving. In my opinion, go to God with that, but reconcile where you can be reconciled. Settle matters quickly with your adversary who is taking you to court. Do it while you are still together on the way, or your adversary may hand you over to the judge, and the judge may hand you over to the officer, and you may be thrown into prison. Truly I tell you, you will not get out until you have paid the last penny. So Christ is talking about accountability here. And metaphorically, he's talking about being put away, being accountable for the wrongs that we do. But he's also encouraging us to be peacemakers, to reach out, to try to make peace, to the best of our ability to do so. Now, he's pointing out that if you don't make peace, you will be accountable. And I think that there's a lot of accountability in today's world that needs to be brought out. There's a lot of people who are putting themselves above the poor and are either looking down on the poor, willfully ignoring the poor, or a combination of both. And a lot of times they say, oh, that side of society is the foolish side. If they were more wise, they'd obviously have what we have. Some people don't even comprehend that that the world doesn't have what they have. And end up writing off people who would be considered lower class as unintelligent, as stupid, saying that's what you get for not being wise. You're there because of your bad choices. There's a lot of reasons we make to call each other foolish. And the poor can call the wealthy foolish. We often see displays that kind of echo Marie Antoinette's sentiments of let them eat cake. It's like, what? What do you mean you can't have the same sort of amazing life that we have up here. What do you mean? You can't have that. Well, you must be, something's wrong with you. And so a lot of people who are poor look at the rich and see this foolish decadence, and we judge each other. And I'm actually not the kind of person that says don't judge. It's like we judge. We do. Let's be honest. We judge, okay? Um but we do need to try to understand at the very least where we're all coming from and how we're meeting each other in different circumstances, and make moves towards reconciliation anytime we really, really can. Now, it can't be hollow reconciliation because there's a lot of pastors who are like, who will do something wrong, and that hurt echoes and lingers in a congregation or wherever this person finds themselves at, and they're saying, and when you bring it up again, it's like they're like, we've already been through this, and they don't actually want an actual reconciliation. I think a big example of this might be a event that was called Promise Keepers in the 1990s, where I swear there were Christians who went to this thing and they believed, hey, we just destroyed racism. They got like multicultural leaders of different colors to get on the stage and hug. They had like this hug fest, and we're like, yay, we stopped racism. And then they go back to where they're from. It's like, what? The problems are still here. Oh my gosh. So we want real reconciliation, and a lot of times that comes with doing our best to make up for the situations that we find ourselves in. And I do pray that reconciliation that can happen will happen. But the for reasons of safety and not getting into dangerous situations that are toxic, sometimes that reconciliation just has to be on your part, on your side, and you have to say, God, be with me. I forgive what happened, and I'm moving on. Sometimes that reconciliation has to be one-sided. When you can really come to something better, that's great. That's great when you can do that. But be safe. Be safe when reconciling. And understand that we are in a place where the ultimate reconciliation we need is with Christ. And the only way that we can be more righteous than the super good, whatever the super good looks like, and this is from the last passage that I read, is through Christ. Christ is the one who reconciles with us. Christ is the one who lifts us up into a place where we are considered a royal priesthood. So that kind of gets into the last video where I was talking about the law. That was basically about law. This one is about being as bad as a murderer. So we're guilty of doing wrong. And because God is there, we can have a full reconciliation. But we need to be pursuing that. We need to be pursuing a reconciliation with God. And part of that is having a relationship with Him, reading our Bibles. So if you need to order a Bible, I have some links here. If you're in America, you can order a Bible from Amazon. Click on one of those. If you are outside of America, you can go to Bible Gateway. With any device you have, you can download the Bible Gateway app, or you can go to BibleGateway.com in a browser and look up any number of Bibles in any number of languages. You guys take care and reconcile where you can. All right. See you guys. Bye bye.